is a Learfield presentation of the Washington State Sports Network.
He buries it. The Cougs have taken the lead. This place is going to pop off.
This is the Cougar Basketball Hour on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. Life keeps moving. We're here for every step. U.S. Bank. Member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Zeppo's, where the Palouse comes to play and eat. Now with Coach Kamie Ethridge, here's your host, Steve Grubbs.
Well, thank you very much, and a very pleasant good Monday night to you all. And yes, indeed, we do come to you live from Zeppo's, where the Palouse does come to play and eat, and it also hosts a couple of Cougar basketball hours, including Monday night with Cougar coach Kamie Ethridge. Kamie, always great to be here at Zeppo's, always great to be here for the Cougar basketball hour, and another good showing here from the Cougar faithful, and a pretty good showing all weekend long at Beasley Coliseum from the Cougar faithful and the fans in attendance.
I thought it was great. Just so appreciative of people coming out, and I know our fans are so hopeful and really trying to get behind us, and I thought we really had a good response. So just got to stay with us, stick with us, and again, we got a couple of road games coming up, but excited about what's coming up, and really feel like our team is on the verge of kind of putting some things back together and getting a few wins down the stretch.
Yeah, it wasn't a great performance Friday night against California, but you did respond against Stanford and came out. And I know you talked to me in the pregame show right before we got set to take on Stanford, and you said, what I wanted to see out of us is us to play hard, to us to give effort, to give us the Cougar effort that we have become accustomed to seeing. And we did see that pretty much all game long, and certainly the way we started against Stanford was fantastic because we jumped out to an early lead against the Cardinal.
Well, I mean, I think games go in runs, and we know that. I really think our players got the message and understood that, overall we just – and you don't know it. I think players go along and they think they've got themselves ready to play a game, and you, for whatever reason, you just don't quite have the same edge. You don't have the killer instinct. You don't get yourself in the right frame of mind. You don't get yourself ready for a battle. And Cal came in and kind of took a first punch at us, and we didn't really respond very good and didn't play very hard until like the last 5 minutes of the game. So again, I don't think that's like we don't play hard. We look like we're just not playing. It just is the difference between, playing just flying around the court and just kind of just hanging out around the court. And you just saw it against Stanford. I thought we really, battles are going on all over the place. It might be a rebounding battle. It might be a getting open battle. It might be a transition defense battle. There's all these kind of mini games going on all over the court, and we just competed in those games. Turned them over early, just had a lot of energy, and that's how we have to play. We lost a little pace, but we also got some really good looks. We watched film today with the team, and we got some really good looks in the fourth quarter. Can't complain about that. We just didn't make some of them. So we've just got to stick with what we're doing and be encouraged by how we played against now a number 3 team in the country. Stanford's number 3 today, and one of the best teams in the country. We got to be encouraged with how we played and how we competed. And it sets us up well with the people we're about to play that we can compete with anybody left on our schedule.
Yeah, led for more than 16 minutes against Stanford in the first half against, at the time, ranked 6th, and as Kamie mentioned, up to number 3 in the country. You mentioned it's not necessarily the effort as far as players not being out. Is that mainly a mental thing? How important is the mental preparation side of getting ready for games and just being ready to go out there and play? Because I don't think it's ever necessarily a lack of our players not wanting to win or not wanting to exude effort. But like you said, there's positive effort and there's positive things that go out there. And then there's also things that, you're just out there and you're not doing positive things for the team. How much is that the mental side of basketball?
Well, we really talked about that. Like, there is no chance to be ready to fight those battles against maybe superior talent, superior height, sometimes superior quickness. I mean, you have no chance to physically take on those battles if you don't get yourself geared up, if you aren't on point, if you don't know the scout in and out, and if you're not willing to throw your body around and put yourself in position to make plays. And that's just constant activity level. That's bounciness. That's energy level. Cal, we gave up threes, yet at the same time we gave up the rim. I mean, I don't even know how that's possible. That doesn't even sound like two things that could connect. Like if you're gonna stick out and not give them threes, then I understand giving up the rim. But we did both, so
Right.
That was a real big indicator that you pop in our film against Cal and you just see it lackadaisical, just a low energy defensive effort, and that's the difference. I mean, we challenged our team and said, actually, UW against Cal, UW against Stanford went into overtime. You pop in their tape, and one thing UW does is they play unbelievably hard on the defensive end, and it was just like, we have no chance if we don't do that. And we have in the past. We've been pretty consistent. You know, Charlize on the floor makes up for a lot of, mistakes by other people. With her off the floor, everybody's just got to be better. And, again, it's not like you don't want to play hard. It's you got to get yourself to that point. You got to well before the game, well before you show up at the gym. You got to get yourself, from the moment you wake up in the morning, probably the night before, where you know what you're going to be like, and you're going to be savage when you walk into that gym. And when the ball goes up, nothing's going to get in your way between you and the ball. So again, that's a mindset before it's the body. But you got to throw both at the opponent every single night.
Yeah, again, visiting with Kamie Ethridge, it's your Cougar Basketball Hour. The Stanford game, really, outside of the turnovers, is that what you really think was the biggest? I mean, I know you mentioned we had some good looks in the fourth quarter, but was it mainly the turnovers that kind of cost us in that game? Because, again, you look back at it, 16 turnovers, and it's just tough to knock off a now third-ranked team in the country with 16 turnovers.
There were a lot of things in that third quarter, took a lead. I think Lori did an edit for our players today, and we had 12 sevens. And sevens to us are every shot we would ever imagine. Like it's on time, in our range, in rhythm, and shots that we want the players to take. We had 12 of them and made 2. And usually if you get sevens, you make 50% of your sevens. So, getting 12 in the fourth quarter is a good thing. Now, nobody knows that because they didn't go in and it feels like, oh, you guys are crappy and you had bad offense and you only scored 7 points. And then there were a mix of, these are the plays we have to really fix, and we didn't get to good shots either. So, but even if you make, instead of 2, you make, 5 of those, you're right there at the end of the game. And yes, we made some mistakes. We lost our composure. Bella lost her composure and got a fouled out on that. And, just things like that, you can't mentally lose your poise and then stay in a game like that. And you can't be baited into fouls, and you can't let people get into your mental framework that gets you out of what you need to be doing. So, again, you can't knock who we played, but I think there's room for growth, and I think we can be better. And I don't look at the fourth quarter and go, oh, we're not a good fourth quarter team. We're going to be fine. We're going to be good. And, again, growing out of this and figuring out what we need to do and still getting the people the right shots and having the right mindset, I think we're going to be good going forward, and I'm excited about what we have coming up.
Of course, we got a big road trip coming up. We'll head down to the desert. We'll talk to Kamie about that a little bit later on in the hour. Just getting things started for your Cougar Basketball Hour. I hear I got another special guest, Astera Tuhina, AT, joining us. Is that correct?
AT, how did you like how he pronounced that name?
Uh-huh.
Did he do okay?
All right, we'll have AT coming up in
we'll
just
have
a bit.
her say it.
All right, and we'll do that, and we'll have more with Kamie next, right here. It's the Cougar Basketball Hour live from Zuppo's. Glad to have you with us. It's right here from Learfield.
Spokane International Airport is a proud sponsor of Washington State University Athletics. The airport connects Cougar fans and alums with over 50 daily departures to 18 nonstop destinations provided by 6 major airlines, as well as one-stop connections to most major metropolitan centers throughout the U.S. Real-time arrival and flight departure information is available at SpokaneAirports.net. Spokane International Airport, when it's time to fly.
The passion, the tradition, the rivalries. SiriusXM is your destination for all things college sports, and we've got you covered. On Pac-12 Radio, there is complete coverage of every school in the conference, including live games, plus 24/7 talk and analysis. So cheer along on the SiriusXM app and listen to your favorite team anywhere. And now you can get 3 months of SiriusXM free. Subscribe now. See offer details at SiriusXM.com/Pac-12 Sports.
When you're traveling on to Palouse, make sure you stop in Colfax. Colfax is home to great businesses like Pomeroy Grain Growers. For all your crop marketing needs, contact Brian or Eric. You're in good hands at Pomeroy Grain Growers. If you're considering assisted living needs, consider the Courtyard at Colfax, where it's always a wonderful way to live. And for all your gift-giving needs, Tick Clock Drug has the best selection on to Palouse.
There's so much to do and see here at Washington State University Pullman, and we at the Braulsford WSU Visitor Center are here to help. And we love to help. So start your visit with us, and our team of Cougs will share insider tips on the best places to eat or where to catch a stunning view of the Palouse. We'll show you where to park, how to get to your destination, connect you to on-campus resources. So for a better visitor experience, start right here at the Braulsford WSU Visitor Center on the corner of Main and Spring Streets near downtown Pullman.
Back here once again to Zeppos. Glad to have you with us. Cougar Basketball Hour is again, we are with Coach Ethridge, and it is again live from Zeppos in Pullman, Washington. And do you mind a couple of questions, Coach? As we take questions for the coach. If you want to come up, we've got some slips up here. You can write down a question for the coach, or if you got one for AT, who's going to be joining us a little bit later on. Questions are here and available for you. Here's one. We were talking a little bit about this. How big is this upcoming weekend for postseason hopes resume-wise against the Arizona schools?
Well, I mean, there are so many schools. Again, we are in an unbelievably great position in the net ranking. One of the at least top 30. We've been hovering close to 20 most of the year. Again, probably have the most losses, and yet we're still in the top 28 or 30 in the net. So that just means we've played quality competitions. We've beaten a lot of good schools and quad one wins. So it's big. I mean, I think at this point we just got to, we're fighting for probably 7th place in the league. And we have every chance, we are in position to do that. Now, you got to go on the road and you got to win a couple of games against teams that you've already beaten and that will be in for revenge and that are really quality opponents as well. You got to come back and play Oregon, who's going to play you all zone, but they're different than they've been, and then now all of a sudden Oregon State's playing as good as anybody in the country. So two weekends that are going to be really, really big for us. But again, excited about going on the road, and we've been good on the road. We have our players' attention. They're really good about taking care of themselves and getting themselves ready to play. We've got a chance against Arizona, have a great chance against Arizona State, I think, and that gets us to, again, at this point, it's just about tacking in a few more wins in our win column.
Absolutely. Again, they are an hour ahead of us this time of the year, so the 6 o'clock start Tucson time becomes a 5 o'clock start here locally on Friday, and then will be 11 o'clock on Sunday morning for you folks here on the Palouse. So again, we'll be with you 5 o'clock on Friday, and then Sunday at 11 first in Tucson and then in Tempe. One more question. I think this has to do not only with this past weekend, although she was good this past weekend as well. Did you think LA would be as big as a score as she has been for you this season?
I have been so surprised by LA in so many ways. I mean, again, you guys barely got to meet her when she came up here, but she is one of the least, she's just a happy person and is unwavering. She doesn't get high, she doesn't get low, she's just happy. She's not bothered by anything that kind of happens to her. You ask her to do something, she's like, yes, it's okay, and there's just no drama to her, and that's how she plays too. She really has an ability to and she talks about it. When I meet with her, she says, I know I have emotions and I have nerves, but I just get in that moment of just playing, and she has an ability to just lock in. She remembers everything on the scout. She was unbelievably great defending anyone we put her on. We needed her to guard jump. We needed her to guard LaPolo. And then when she was on LaPolo, she was helping in the post and getting some steals in the post. She was really solid on both sides of the ball. And no, I don't think we expected her to be this much of an offensive scorer. And I think her last 5 games, 50% from the field, and field goal is 58%. I mean, some amazing statistics. Clearly one of the best freshmen in our league, and probably one of the best freshmen in the country this year.
Yeah, no doubt about that. As again, she has put up big numbers again this past weekend against the Cal Golden Bears. Put up 17, 16 against Stanford, and as you mentioned, 7 of 11 shooting against Stanford. So very efficient when she was doing it. Is it the variety of the way that she can score? Is that what makes her dangerous? Because she can obviously hit an open 3, but at the same time she can penetrate in and hit those runners as well. And she's not afraid to go into the paint either, despite her size.
Right. I think the other thing is I think we've talked about it. The second time she's seen somebody, she's better.
Yeah.
Like the first time, I think Brink blocked a couple of shots out of bounds, which happens,
yeah,
even this last
times.
night. And, she learned a few things about that. But it's true. She's got those runners that, you don't have time to pull up and make a jump shot, and she can get it off in traffic, and it's so solid and so elite. Like, not very many people have those runners and floaters that she does. The threes that she makes, again, the pull-ups, her handle is tight enough now, and again, just, and her defense creates things. The hard twos, the hard layups she makes, I mean, those are things that you just don't expect a freshman to do, and again, just need her to continue to do it, and as much as we can, we got to have the ball in her hands at certain times of the game as well.
No doubt about it. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we'll talk with Astera Tuhina. Real quickly from you, what did you see out of AT when you were recruiting her to bring her here to Washington State? What did you see? What jumped out at you as far as this is a player we want here at Washington State?
Well, she's got a great feel for the game. I think that's what jumps off when we watched her. Great handle. She never got sped up, and that's really important. She can, she doesn't get led into too many turnovers, and it's crucial for us. She's still doing that for us. It's crucial that we get her back up to, full level. I think right now would probably tell you that her lungs are giving out, or her legs might be giving out a little bit during the game, and we're just forcing her to stay out there a little too long. But her poise within the game, doesn't get sped up, has a high IQ, can pass it. Her handle, that's such a big thing, is that you can penetrate, and you can just wait, and you get the ball where it needs to get. And a lot of players don't have that poise or that patience and that handle in traffic. Phenomenal at that. And again, 3-point level, can shoot the jumper, and can score at the rim. Again, what doesn't blow us away, and it's probably the one thing that we talk to AT most about, is just her motor needs to pick up, her bounciness, her when she gets a little fatigued, she gets a little bit standstillish and flat-footed, and that's when she's really a little bit more bouncy, a little more active, and gets us into offense with great pace. That's when we're at our best. And again, having the luxury of AT bringing it up and LA being on the wing, or vice versa, is really a great thing for us, and clearly getting her back gives us a chance, I think, the rest of the season.
No doubt. Again, we'll visit with Astera Tuhina coming up in just a little bit. Back with the coach a little bit later on in the hour. We're live from Zeppo's. Glad to have you with us. It's our Cougar Basketball Hour, and we'll be back right after this from Learfield.
Nothing works up an appetite like cheering for your Cougs on game day. So why not cheer them on at Northern Quest with an impressive roster of restaurants and lounges? You can tackle the menu at Epic and catch every play on the 10 by 30-foot screen. Or grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, even a burger from Fat Burger. For your inner linebacker. See more at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppos.
Close, convenient, connected. The Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport and Alaska Air get you where you want to go. And with Alaska's One World Alliance, that's just about anywhere. With multiple flights to Seattle most days, plus one to Boise, that's another reason to use PUW to get you home. By the time you're winding your way through Washtuckna on 26 or Winchester on 95, you'll be in Seattle or Boise. Save on gas, higher parking fees, and your time. Fly PUW, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport, your Cougar and Alaska hometown airport.
In 2004, Pullman Regional Hospital opened its facility on Bishop Boulevard. It became a model of what a community hospital could be. Word got out about the extraordinary care people were getting, and services were added so that local residents no longer needed to travel to Spokane for many specialized services. Today, 18 years later, the demand has grown, and Pullman Regional Hospital is working to meet these new challenges. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital. Your hospital.
Well, Xavier Hubbs, welcome back. It is your Cougar Basketball Hour. So happy to have you with us here from Zeppos. We're going to give Coach E just a little bit of time off as we welcome in AT to the stage. She's making her way up as we are joining you with the Cougar Basketball Hour from Zeppos, where the Palouse comes to play and eat. So happy to have you with us as AT will get the headsets on. And let's start first. Were you known as AT before Coach E called you AT? And there you go. Was she the first one to call you AT?
I think it was a teammate, that Jessica, I think. She came up with that just because they kept asking me how to pronounce my name. And no one could say it correctly, so they were like, she needs a nickname, so...
Okay.
That's how it happened.
Okay, so now let me hear from you, if I can get it, to see how bad I've done it over the years. Pronounce your name for us, so that way I can see if I need to make some work on it.
Astera.
Astera. That's still not right, is it?
Astera.
Okay, and then the last name?
Tuhina.
Tuhina. Okay.
That's good.
That's okay?
The last name is good.
Okay.
Not
but
the first name.
Astera?
Astera.
Astera. Still not there.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
I'll get there. All right. Unfortunately, and from what I can tell, and here's a question for you from our audience, and we've got a few questions for you if you don't mind. How many languages do you speak fluently?
I speak 3 languages. My first language is Albanian, and then English, and then Spanish.
How was one tougher to learn than the others?
No, just because back home, English, everyone knows English because you're supposed to know. And then Spanish, I lived in Spain, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, again, visiting with Astera Tuhina. Let's talk a little bit about on the court. Obviously, you were out for an injury for a little bit of time from right around the holidays until we got you back just a week or so ago. What was that like being injured? And then how are you? How healthy are you? And are you ready to go for this final month of the season?
I mean, injuries are always tough. It's hard being out and then just coming with one practice and playing 20 minutes against number 3 on the Colorado.
Right.
But I feel like I was still part of the team, part of every practice. I was just with the team the whole time. I was traveling with them, which is a great opportunity because not a lot of teams have that. And yeah, I was just doing treatment all the time. I was still lifting and shooting on the side as much as I could, and little by little I was just back.
How do you feel your conditioning is at this point as we get into this stage of the season? And I know Coach E talked about it a little bit. How do you feel your conditioning is at this stage as far as getting back into going out there and battling for as long as you can on the court?
Coach E, close your ears, please. It's not that bad. The first game it was kind of bad just because I didn't run for 5 weeks.
Right.
But now I feel like it's getting better. And on Sunday I played like 30 minutes, and I feel like this is gonna. It takes some time, but it could have been worse.
Yeah. Again, visiting with Astera Tuhina, AT. Maybe that's what I'll just keep calling you from now on. AT is who I'm visiting with here for your Cougar Basketball Hour. And I want to talk a little bit about last season because obviously last season you were a freshman, and then What was that like as a learning curve coming to play in the States, coming to play in the Pac-12 conference, and just integrating in with your teammates and getting to know how to play in this conference and at this level?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. When I first committed here, I knew Pac-12 was a really tough conference, but I had no idea that it was that hard. Obviously, it's hard to be a freshman and having to like step up when, for example, Charlie's left last year, having to start. That's always hard. But I feel like I had that connection with the team since the first practice, and I had the confidence that, like, from my coaches, and they knew what they wanted from me since the first day I got here. So that made everything easier.
Yeah. Did the fact that you had to step up at that point, did that actually help your learning curve a little bit as you went forward?
I think that helped me a lot. Gain some confidence on those 4 games that Charlie's wasn't here, and I just knew what I was capable of after seeing that I could do it.
When you look at this team and you see what lies ahead on the rest of your schedule, what gives you the biggest confidence going forward? The fact that you guys went out there and you battled, as Kamie mentioned, one of the top teams in the country, and you were right there through 3 quarters and had a chance to knock them off. How do you think you guys are playing right now, and is there a little something extra that you think is just right there on the edge, and you think we're about ready to grab that extra little bit?
I think we're still getting used to playing without Charlie's. I don't think people realize how hard it is. People only look at Charlie's on the court, but they don't really look how, like, Charlie's is like a great leader. On like huddles, she's the one that always used to talk, or even now, like, she still have the same role. Don't get me wrong. Like, in the locker room, she's always the one that talks and tells us what to do, or on the bench, like. She's always going to be there, but it's still hard to, like, not have her on the court in those hard moments, because Charlie's was is a player that would step up on those moments and make a great play or, like, a great read. But we're still getting used to that, and it's going to take some time. But I think, as you said, we were pretty close to, like, beating Stanford, Colorado, Utah. They're a really good team, so.
And we got a stretch here of 4 games, Arizona and Arizona State. We were able to beat them the first time around. You weren't with us the first time around that we were able to get them, so now you get a chance to go at them. This is a really important part of our schedule, and it's kind of now go time right now for Washington State. Is that the way you guys are attacking it too?
Yeah, I think we are getting really prepared for these 2 games, and we need those games. And as you said before, we've beat them before, and we know it's something we can do, so we're pretty confident with that.
Got a few more questions. We're going to keep you for another segment. Is that okay? We're going to keep you for another segment. I also want to get into a little bit of your international history, because you played a little bit of international basketball as well, and I want to talk to you about that. We'll talk with Astera Tuhina. I'm still not going to get it. I'm going to take a class when we're AT and me back with the Cougar Basketball Hour next, right here from Learfield.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing: chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill.
2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
It's college football's latest tradition. It's fierce, glorious, and ridiculously delicious. It's the Nom Nom Snack Bowl Flyaway. Just download the Nom Nom app to enter the competition. Play all season long to score free snacks and tasty tailgate treats. One lucky champion will win a free trip for 2 to the Pac-12 championship game in Las Vegas, Nevada. Go Cougs! Ready for a snack down? Download the Nom Nom app to find out. Nom Nom. Life in the snack lane.
At Washington State University Pullman, there's always a lot happening, and many activities are open to the community. It can be tough to know what's going on, where it's happening, and where you can park. But all of us at the Braulsford WSU Visitor Center love to help people find the answers. We keep a list of events, and I'll let you in on a secret. There's plenty of public parking on campus. You just need to know where to look. There's a new campus parking map to make it even easier. And if you need a temporary permit, we can help you with that too. We are here to connect community and campus at the Brailsford WSU Visitor Center on the corner of Main and Spring Streets near downtown Pullman.
Close, convenient, connected. The Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport and Alaska Air get you where you want to go. And with Alaska's One World Alliance, that's just about anywhere. With multiple flights to Seattle most days, plus one to Boise, that's another reason to use PUW to get you home. By the time you're winding your way through Washtenaw on 26 or Winchester on 95, you'll be in Seattle or Boise. Save on gas, higher parking fees, and your time. Fly PUW, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport, your Cougar and Alaska hometown airport.
Well, we do welcome you back again. Steve Grubbs along with AT welcoming you right here to the Cougar Basketball Hour and a chance to visit with her. Did get a couple of questions here from the crowd here as we were in our commercial break. First of all, do you want to talk about that half-court shot? Did you line it up? Was it, tell me the scientific approach of hitting that half-court shot that you made over the course of this past weekend?
Just those physics classes that I take that help me. No, but I love shooting that shot. Every single game that there's like 2 seconds left, I'm shooting that. And it's actually really funny because you can see when Peely scored the basket, there was like 2 seconds left. And Jess was like walking because she knew it was like the end of the quarter. I'm like, Jess, give me the ball. And she like sprinted out of, like, took the ball out, and I'm like, I don't care how far it is. I'm just going to shoot it. And it went in, so
no,
you never know.
I've seen you try to make the shot from the bench over near the three-point line in the corner that you try to. Do you practice half-court shots at all in practice?
No.
But that's the physics that comes down to it.
Physics.
Okay. Have you decided on a major here at Washington State University? I'm assuming it has something to do with physics and or math, or am I completely wrong?
Yeah, I'm doing computer science.
Okay. I do have a question here. I don't know, a tizzle, is that something that I should know about?
Just ask Laurie. I don't know.
Okay, I will ask Laurie about that.
You can stick with AT. That's fine.
I can stick with AT. All right, I'll stay with AT. What is the hardest math class you will have ever taken or will take in your major?
I've taken so many.
Huh?
No.
Are you a math genius? You pretty good is what I'm guessing, yeah? Okay. Okay.
I don't know. Probably any calculus class.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to take as many math classes for my major. It's more like computer science classes, and we don't want to talk about those.
Well, I was business management going to school, and I was great until I got to college, and then so you're way ahead of me. How about one of this? What is one of your hidden talents? You got a hidden talent you want to expose to the crowd here at Zeppos?
Probably Rubik's cubes.
Okay.
It all started because once I had this teammate, guy. He was my age, and he came up to practice, and he just solved the Rubik's cube. And everyone was like, whoa, good job, that's so cool. And I went home, and I'm like, Mom, I need a Rubik's Cube. And I learned how to do it in like 2 days, and my parents were like, okay, this is your new thing to do.
Now, I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been you. Is there different? I'm used to there just being the square one. Is there different types of different shapes of Rubik's Cubes?
Yeah.
And are they harder than the Rubik's Cube?
Yes.
And what's the toughest one you come across? And have you ever found one to be unsolvable?
The hardest one I've done is probably either 6x6 or the one that has like 12 different colors. 12
different colors.
Yeah, but that's about it.
That's that would be way past mine. I do have a question about your prior to coming to Washington State University. You played not only for Kosovo, is that correct, when it comes to the European Championships, but then you also went and played in Spain, and you went to play in Spain at the age of 14, is 13. That correct? Club basketball in Spain?
13, yeah.
13 years old, and you were the youngest at the time, and then played in the top level of club basketball in Spain at the age of 16, is that right, or 15?
16.
16. So, I mean, what was it like playing in that type of competition at that young of an age to further you along in your basketball career?
I mean, it was obviously hard leaving home and leaving my parents when I was 13 years old. But I knew what I wanted from this. Ever since like I started playing, I knew I wanted to leave, just because of the level back home. But as soon as I got there, I saw that like I could do so much there. And obviously I was really young when I got there, and I started with like the young teams. But then like 3 years after, the coaches were like, yeah, you can play in the first league of Spain. And there was actually some like WNBA players that were playing, and I actually played against them. Well, not really played, but I was there, and it was a really cool experience just to know that you're 16 and you're having a game against like the MVP of the WNBA.
So did that prepare you for this type of basketball that you're playing now, and I would think even the physicality that we see in this conference on a night in, night out basis?
Yeah, it did. Obviously playing with older people is always good, and it prepares you so much for the future. But yeah, I was practicing with the first team all the time, so when I came here it was kind of like it was way easier than it would normally be.
Okay, got another question here. What is your favorite country you visited? Obviously, you're from Kosovo. You went and you played in Spain. What's the favorite country you visited? And how many countries are we getting up to? Like, how many countries have you visited? Is it a lot?
Yeah, a lot. Just because in Europe, like usually we have with national team a lot of tournaments everywhere.
So you're going all over the continent.
Yeah, but probably my favorite would be Spain.
Would be Spain?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite city in Spain?
Madrid, I'd say, the capital.
All right. Did have one other question for you here. This is for you. Any travel tips for anyone wanting to holiday in either Kosovo, Croatia, or over in Europe? Any? Let's just say for the Americans that want to go over, and I don't know whether it would be an American hotspot or something that's hidden that maybe wouldn't be, maybe one of each on those?
The first thing is my parents would love that if anyone wants to stay at my house.
Okay.
You guys are more than welcome.
All right, that's great.
But yeah, I think you should. Everyone should. It's a great experience, like to visit a country like that. It's really different, the culture, the people, and it's always fun. Like our trip this summer in Croatia and Greece, even though I've been there before, it was just amazing.
What was that like, taking some of the players that haven't been to that part of the world and taking them over to that part of the world and getting them to see some of the things that go on culturally as well as basketball-wise?
Yeah, it's interesting to see Americans like that have never like left the country, go to a country in Europe, because it's way different, and I feel like they loved it, and it's a different lifestyle, but all of them loved it. So,
what when you get a chance for your family to come and see you play, what's that like when you get a chance to have them come see you play over here?
They're coming for the Pac-12 tournament, actually. It's always good to have your parents watch you and support you. I mean, they still wake up every single Friday, like at 4 a.m. to watch my games. But having them here, obviously, it's going to be really important for me.
Absolutely. Again, visiting with AT. Kamie had something. I think I call you AT most of the time. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to need a couple more refreshers on how to pronounce your name correctly, but I think for the most part I'll stick with AT. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, Astera, Tuhina. Again, happy to have her with us. It's your Cougar Basketball Hour. We'll have Coach E coming up next from Learfield.
You may be eager to break ground on a new outdoor project, but never just start digging. Buried electric and natural gas lines can be anywhere. It's the law to call 811 at least 2 business days before you dig. Spray paint white lines showing your dig zone, and a crew will mark the utility lines. Mark accuracy zone is within 2 feet of the mark, so always hand dig to expose the line first. Call 811 before you dig. The service is free for residential customers. Avista, we just want you to be safe.
A lot goes into Washington State athletes reaching peak performance for game day, including the right nutrition. At Wilbur Ellis, we know that healthy crop performance requires the same attention to nutrition as an athlete. That's why we use benchmark data points to maximize crop productivity through nutrient efficiency. For 100 years, family-owned Wilbur Ellis has been partnering with Washington's farmers to grow healthier crops. That is the winning ag experience for Cougar Nation, locally provided by Wilbur Ellis.
Nothing for me.
Okay, never mind then.
When you're out driving around the Blues, be sure to stop by Tick Clock Drug in Colfax. Family owned and operated, they're your one-stop shop for pharmacy, healthcare, apparel, cards, home decor, and gifts for all ages. And for all your printing needs, be sure Cougar Graphics is the place to call. When it comes to paper, Cougar Graphics can print it. Tick Clock Drug and Cougar Graphics on Main Street in Colfax.
Whether you're looking to get away or you're ready to find your way back home, the best way to travel is with Alaska Airlines and the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport. When you fly PUW, you're on an Embraer 175 jet with economy, first class, and premium seating. Multiple flights most days to Seattle and one direct to Boise. And with a new runway and instrument approach, PUW and Alaska Air get you there reliably. Use alaskaair.com and PUW, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport. Close, convenient, and connected.
Well, Steve Grubbs, welcome back once again here to Zeppos. It is your Cougar Basketball Hour as we are going to be rejoined here by Kamie Ethridge as she is making her way back up to the stage. Great to be with you again. We'll be on the road this weekend. Final weekend at home. I can't believe we're saying that already as we get to two of our final 3 weekends on the road. But we do have one more weekend at home, Oregon State and Oregon here in Pullman in what'll be a week and a half, and that'll be a big weekend for us as well. Oregon State had somebody come in and say, how did Oregon State hold Utah to 44 points? Did you get a chance to watch any of that game?
I haven't watched it, but I'm not surprised. I mean, they have Reagan Beers is a 6'5", big body that can match with Peely. Anyone that can match with Peely that size is it helps. So, and they you know, their system is they just have big bodies inside and they can stretch you with shooters on the outside. I mean, he does a great job, and they're kind of back to what they've been in the past.
Meanwhile, we get, of course, Arizona and Arizona State. Arizona playing right now. I have it here on my phone. It's also up on the TV in the back room over there, over in the back corner. 27-23 as they're taking on USC. Your thoughts on Arizona as, again, we're taking on the Arizona schools this weekend and what you saw out of the Wildcats the first time around?
Well, I just know it's going to be, you know, it's a tough environment to go into. They don't lose a ton of games there. And, you know, they love to beat the drum. And I don't know if y'all know that, but they want to beat the drum after every win for however many wins they have. And we just want to not let them beat the drum.
That's right.
That's the point. That's the goal of that game. But, you know, they're going to be out for revenge. They weren't very good against us the first time. We just crushed them in the back half of the game. And you know, they're playing really close to USC right now at USC. So, again, typical Pac, you know, doesn't matter where you play. If you're not ready to play, they're going to beat you, and we can compete with anybody no matter where we play if we're ready, if we're on point and what we need to do. So, a lot of things we can do to play with them. Of course, you got to find ways to score, and I just expect our team to continue to improve and I think we'll be a better team this coming weekend than we have been recently.
What'd you think of AT up here, and how about have I gotten her name over the last few months?
Just don't try.
Yeah, just go AT. That makes more sense.
Just
right?
like she tells me, just don't even try. And she needs to take my job. This is it. We've just found another thing that AT can do. She can fill in and do that. What a poised young lady, and just amazing. I think that's the one thing I didn't speak on about how you find players like that, but just play 13, 14 playing with grown women all those years. I mean, you just learn the game at another level. Your IQ has to be better. She had a way she walked into our locker room and just understood how to be the youngest, but all the older players liked her, you know, because of how she knows how to mesh with older people and older players. Just a great teammate and a great way about her, and super chill, so super chill that I want to kick her sometimes. But other than that, it's a good thing because she doesn't get too, you know, she's got a lot of poise to her game and how she leads, and now it's her voice. It's really she's the voice on our team and in our huddles, and and she's got big shoes to fill.
Well, that was one of the other questions for us. Well, no one can fill Charlize's shoes. Who comes to stepping up as a leader in huddles and on the court? AT, is there any others that pop into your mind as far as trying to fill that void? And obviously, Charlize is still there and helping out with those things, but at the same time, on the court and in the huddles, who's kind of helping out with that leadership role?
I just think it's AT. I mean, again, I think anytime Charlize hasn't been there, she just, it's her nature to do that, and she knows our system better than anyone else. I mean, Arizona's going to be a great environment for her because it's going to be so loud. She gets to just, she's going to get to coach the team the entire time because she can't look over. No one can look over and get the calls. You've just really got to be able to play within the court, and she's going to be able to do that for us and can do that. She gives a lot of confidence to the people around her, and that's what a great point guard does. So I think it's her, not that others can't do it, just she's got the best voice and the best mind for the game and doesn't get overwhelmed with anything that's going on in the court.
Again, it's Arizona State coming up. I know most of the focus is on Arizona, but Arizona State's another one of these teams. Hard to see them. I think going into the weekend, I think they still are tied with Oregon when it comes to 11th in the Pac-12 conference standings. But again, any of these teams can come up and beat them. We just saw California. They not only beat us, but went over to Seattle and beat the Huskies. I mean, anybody in this conference can beat anybody on any given night, and it's proven that. I mean, we saw the Huskies take Stanford to overtime. So, again, top to bottom, it's just who comes out and plays the best on that night. And obviously home court helps, but it's not everything.
No, it's not. And I just think, got to find wins, got to compete at a high level, got to play your game and get yourself ready. You can't look around at the standings. You can't look forward. You can't go too much in the future. We just need to get to practice in the morning and really lock in and get ourselves ready to play a great game on Friday. I think that process is what's been successful for us in the past, and I know it will be going forward. I think we have a chance at these games coming up, and we just gotta want this thing. We gotta know we're playing for something really big. Nothing that we've ever wanted this season is out of our reach right now. Getting to the NCAA tournament is not out of our reach, but we've got to be locked in, and we can't let anything slip away now.
Last thing I got before we'll take a quick another break, it was another question that was pinned in or actually came up and asked me, how much when it comes to the scouting report, do you change your defenses at all, or do you guys do pretty much what you guys do when it comes to scouting another team? In other words, do you think, okay, maybe we can go a little bit of zone against this team, or do you pretty much know what you're going to do? Is it more predicated on what you can do, or do you take into factor what the other team does?
No, I think there's certain teams you feel like you can zone, and we haven't done very much of that. And I do think that's something that, we can, for us, especially now that maybe we need to steal some minutes by playing two bigs together, Alex and Bella. It's possible that we could, be bigger in a 2-3 zone or do a zone a little bit different and play bigger with that and not and those are things that I think are on the table for us, and that gives us a chance to be a little bit different. Some teams I'm not sure, Cal, we tried it one possession and they scored it, but it didn't matter what we did against Cal. They made every shot they took. So, there's some teams you probably don't want to zone, but clearly there's some that I do think there's going to be opportunities for us to steal some possessions and keep people off balance a little bit, and I think we'll see that against Arizona. I think they'll do something tricky. I think they'll play a box and one on somebody and maybe they'll zone. So you have to be ready for it. You need to prepare to be a little bit different. And, I think it's good the second time you play someone not to be exactly the same way you were the first.
All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll start to wrap up the show. Any final questions for the coach? You can come up and grab a sheet of paper, and we'll be back as we start to wrap things up here. It's the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield with Coach E, and myself. It's live from Zeppos.
Now, I like my fantasy league and all, but it won't let me bet the spread on game day. So once my lineup's set, I head straight to Turf Club Sportsbook in Northern Quest for real sports betting and wall-to-wall HD TVs right off the casino floor. Heck, I can even place bets from my phone while I'm there with their new mobile app. That's another thing my fantasy league can't do. Turf Club Sportsbook, the ultimate game changer, only at Northern Quest.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together.
Yes.
Member FDIC. If you've got the right tool...
Nope, not that. Whether you're looking to get away or you're ready to find your way back home, the best way to travel is with Alaska Airlines and the Pullman Moscow Regional Airport. When you fly PUW, you're on an Embraer 175 jet with economy, first class, and premium seating. Multiple flights most days to Seattle and one direct to Boise. And with a new runway and instrument approach, PUW and Alaska Air get you there reliably. Use alaskaair.com and PUW, the Pullman Moscow Regional Airport. Close, convenient, and connected.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. The combined expertise of our university and our award-winning hospital are being deployed to provide greater access to resources, education, employment opportunities, and innovations to improve health care and health outcomes for all of us. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
Well, we do welcome you back again. It is your Cougar Basketball Hour with Steve Grubbs and also Coach Ethridge. Our thanks also to AT for joining us as she made her way up and was part of the show, getting a couple of last-minute questions for the coach as well. As, again, we are ready here. Here's a question that just came in. Team Team X and O or pillars that motivate them or ground them? Do the Cougars have one as far as things, a motto or a pillars that you kind of lean back on and you go through over the course of either your time at Washington State or over the course of a season?
Well, you know, we spend a lot of time on our culture, and we actually have some core values that we try to hammer in, you know, on a daily basis. We actually have something called Cougar Cores that literally goes out every week, and Monday is something about respect the game, respect your opponent, respect your opportunity, respect your professors. I mean, you can just go into a million what respect looks like and what respect doesn't look like. Compete is one of those, you know, compete against yourself, be better than you were yesterday. It's not always just compete against the score, although that's important too. Trust, you know, and that's a big one for just how you have to, you know, you gotta be trustworthy as a teammate. You gotta be trustworthy as a worker, and how much you work, and all of us. We all have to do that. I have to be trustworthy as a coach. We have to have a great relationships where we can coach hard and love hard and be there for one another. Unity. Or I guess that falls into that. I'm trying to think of toughness is one that we've made really an important one, mental, physical, and emotional. And everybody's in a different level there, but we're trying to grow, you know, emotional toughness, and that doesn't come easy. We were just talking to someone about that. You know, some player might not be emotionally tough enough, and it comes across as a little instability, and we've just got to grow that. People come in at different levels on those things. And then the last one is accountability. All of those things we want kids accountable for who they are. If you say you want to be great, then we're going to put a plan in place to make you and develop you. But those are core values that in some capacity, that's everything that we do on a daily basis is about those 5 things. And we believe that if we really teach those things, then by the time you're done, you're going to be a great player and you're going to be a great teammate. And if you're those 2 things, you're going to walk into any profession when you leave this place and be, you know, a really great teammate in that situation, right, and a professional in whatever you're doing.
Right. Again, with Coach Ethridge, did have just a couple more here that we were going to get to. Here's one. When Bella graduates, how quickly do you feel Candace will move into that important position comfortably for you?
Wow. I wish you guys could watch Candace play. Candace is going to be a really Peticu. That's how you say her name, Peticu.
Peticu.
She's going to be a tremendous player. I think a few months ago she was getting things blocked, and she was so mad at herself because she couldn't score over Alex. And now she plays in the practice guys. She plays with the practice guys, so she gets in so many reps, and she literally scores on Alex all the time and can score. You know, she has just a knack for scoring and doesn't get it blocked. Again, her ceiling is so high. She's feisty. She's a little sassy, and that's probably not all bad.
Okay.
But she's competitive, and she's gonna step in and be a tremendous player. And I think, again, in comparing, Bella came in and was so raw. Candace is coming in much more developed and probably emotionally much more developed and in a better spot. Now, still, Bella has a ceiling still to be great, and so does Candace. So excited about her, excited about the future. Again, our young players, our freshman class has been phenomenal, and they will be phenomenal as we get all of them on the court.
A couple of milestones that took place over the weekend as well. Bella became the program's all-time leading rebounder, and then when you count in her numbers from the University of Idaho, Beyonce ended up with 1,000 career rebounds in her career. A couple of big numbers out there. Bella with 900 with Washington State, and then 1,000 for Beyonce. So cool for those individually, and they're going to need to be big down the stretch. Our front line is going to need to be big down the stretch. Talk a little bit about them, and then also the progress that you have seen Alex make, especially I think over the last few games in the last few weeks of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be able to match, and I think that's the thing is when you start thinking about, Arizona's playing two bigs at the same time right now. You've got to have some bodies to match these players. It's even when you're playing Stanford, you've got to throw, Jess at 6'3" and a different body at Brink and Kiki, and then you've got to throw in Alex, and you have this chance. Now, we need a little more scoring punch from the 5 spot. We're not quite getting enough from Bella at times, and if Bella's not doing it, we got to find it in Alex or Jess or somewhere. Happy with how B's kind of hunting for her own shot. Still want her to look for her shot a lot more than she is right now. But again, it's still, no matter how you do it, I feel like our guard game has been pretty solid. AT scoring a good clip. LA's pretty solid. Tara's been pretty solid for us. We've just got to get that. We've got to get that 4th and 5th being super solid, and then those role players, giving us a little punch off the bench. So it's still about getting enough points out there that we can win some games. And 58's not quite enough. And I think, I feel like Alex is improving. I feel like Jess is hopefully getting a little relief from her ankle and getting a little bit better. And again, just have to compete. I don't want us to be intimidated by what we're facing. I want us to move the ball and be confident in the shots that we're taking, and give ourselves a chance to win these games. And I think we're gonna be in these ball games. So we just got to find a way to pull it out at the end.
All right, one final timeout, and then back for about 90 seconds or so with the head coach. We'll wrap things up from Zeppo's next. It's your Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Bro, you go hard for the WSU Cougs.
What do you mean?
You're literally wearing a Coug jersey that you bought from the Coug store with your Coug debit card. And you don't stop talking about how every time you use your card, GISA donates to the Cougar Athletic Fund.
I guess I do go pretty hard for my Cougs.
If you go hard for your Cougs, get your WSU card today at GISA.com. Go Cougs!
Hampton in Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus. Centrally located to restaurants and shopping, they've got you covered for all your lodging needs. With their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, a cozy outdoor patio, a gift shop for all your Cougar gear needs, and the friendliest staff in town to make you feel right at home. Visit HamptonByHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton in Pullman, Hilton for the stay.
When you're traveling on to Palouse, make sure you stop in Colfax. Colfax is home to great businesses like Pomeroy Grain Growers. For all your crop marketing needs, contact Brian or Eric. You're in good hands at Pomeroy Grain Growers. If you're considering assisted living needs, consider the Courtyard at Colfax, where it's always a wonderful way to live. And for all your gift-giving needs, Tick Clock Drug has the best selection on to Palouse.
Whether you're looking to to get away or you're ready to find your way back home, the best way to travel is with Alaska Airlines and the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport. When you fly PUW, you're on an Embraer 175 jet with economy, first class, and premium seating. Multiple flights most days to Seattle and one direct to Boise. And with a new runway and instrument approach, PUW and Alaska Air get you there reliably. Use alaskaair.com and PUW, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport. Close, convenient, and connected.
Here for about the final minute, and only a minute or so left in the show. But Coach, as we wrap things up here from Zeppo's, want to thank everybody for coming out. This has been a lot of fun all season long. Just your last minute thoughts on the show and as we get ready for this final stretch of basketball games.
Well, once again, just appreciate everybody coming out. It means so much to me. Again, first year that we've had the radio show, and just feels great being in the room with people that love our program and think a lot of us. I love sharing our team and sharing our program too, and having AT come. I appreciate that. Again, I just want to keep saying fired up about our guys. I couldn't be happier for Kyle's success. We got to keep rooting them on, but
Absolutely.
Stick with us, stay with us as well. These kids are giving everything they have, and again, we're not done. We're going to be competing all the way through, and we want to be in postseason, in particular the NCAA tournament.
Coach, as always, thanks for the time. We'll see you down in Tucson.
As always, go Cougs!
Go Cougs! We'll be in Arizona Friday night. This has been your Cougar Basketball Hour from Zeppo's.
You've been listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's show has been brought to you by U.S. Bank. Life keeps moving. We're here for every step.